The Great Importance of Geocentricity by Malcolm Bowden. All Christians originally accepted that the sun went round the earth as everyone could see, and as the Bible stated. When in the 15th, 16th and 17th centuries Copernicus, Kepler and Galileo said that the earth went round the sun, their ideas began to spread. Cardinal Bellarmine in the Roman Catholic Church asked Galileo to present his proofs for his theory, but they were so ridiculous that Bellarmine rightly dismissed them. Nevertheless, scholars of the day continued to promote them until today. They are effectively scientific dogma. Today, Galileo is portrayed as being an honest man of science who was badly treated by a bigoted and ignorant religious organization. This view of his life is still used today as propaganda by anti-Christians to portray the Church as still resistant to scientific evidence, particularly regarding evolution. The facts, however, are quite different. Galileo was a very arrogant man, but was well treated by the Roman Catholic Church. He was provided with transport to Bellarmine's 1615 Inquisition. He was allowed to say it was a theory, but not a fact. The Pope gave him a pension and a villa. The next Pope met Galileo, became his patron and financed him. But the arrogant Galileo wrote a book that mocked the Pope and was brought before the Inquisition a second time, not because of his heliocentric views, but because he had broken his word to the Church. The Church's kind treatment of Galileo needs to be more widely known to oppose the lying propaganda surrounding his life that is used to oppose the Church. This ridiculing of the Church by scientists such as Richard Dawkins is still operating today. So fierce is this regarding evolution, and even more so geocentricity, that many are beginning to ask the question, why are they so angry? What are they so afraid of? The answer is surely obvious. Anti-Christians have spread the lie that in this vast, impersonal mass of stars, life and mankind are just an accident that took place on a small rock going round an ordinary star. They say that on it, life arose by a series of small accidental changes over millions of years, and this whole process took place without any need for a God, and most certainly not the Christian God. Now, it can be demonstrated to any open-minded person that there is more than enough evidence to prove that the earth is clearly placed at the centre of the universe. Far from being an accident, this earth is at the very centre of God's interest, and on it he is working out his great cosmic plan, or the drama of the universe, as I prefer to call it. Let us look at the evidence supporting geocentricity in 3 separate subjects. 1. Theoretical articles. The published secular mathematical articles of Mach, Barbour and Bertotti, Popov and others, such as Gerber, Lenz and Thirring, all prove that the geocentric universe is as perfectly viable as the heliocentric models. See the full articles on my website. 2. 4 secular scientific experiments. 2a. Michelson-Morley showed that we were not going round the sun at 30 kilometers per second. This sent shockwaves through the scientific world. They quickly invented the Fitzgerald-Lorentz contraction to overcome this unwanted result. Later, Einstein produced his relativity theory, in which he banned the ether and thus solved the problem. Later, in 1920, he accepted that there was an ether, but with special properties. 2b. Michelson-Gale. This showed that there was an ether wind passing across the face of the earth within 2% of the calculated 1 revolution per day. Either the earth was turning or the ether was turning around us. Airy's experiment showed that it was the ether that was turning around us. The earth was stationary. Although Einstein abolished the ether, this raises the question, what were they measuring that was passing across the surface of the earth? 2c. Airy found that he did not have to tilt his telescope further when it was filled with water. This demonstrated that the starlight was already coming in at an angle, proving that it was the ether turning round the earth and not the earth spinning on its axis. 2d. Sagnac turned a table and a circulating light path and found that the fringe movement changed exactly as predicted. This proved that the ether determined the speed of light and thus demolished relativity that had abolished the ether. All these 4 experiments demonstrated that we are stationary at the centre of the universe. There is no scientific evidence that we go round the sun. Thirdly, but not least, biblical evidence. Many with no knowledge of the scientific evidence for geocentricity have noticed that the Bible always speaks of the sun going round the earth. Many verses speak of the sun going down or rising. Joshua 10 verse 13. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed, that is, tarried or moved slowly, about a whole day. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. So we now have all these 3 lines of evidence. Mathematics, Barber and Bertotti, Popov, etc. Science, Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Gale, Airy, Sagnac. The Bible, the sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The fact that they coincide exactly with each other surely makes it abundantly clear to any thoughtful person that this earth truly is stationary at the centre of the universe, and the ether, planets and galaxies, etc. are circulating around it. That we are at the centre of the universe destroys the whole basis of the present accepted views that we are only an accident on a small rock. In one blow, all the propaganda behind evolution, the Big Bang, heliocentricity, etc., that has been forced upon an unwitting public is swept away, to be replaced by the existence of the Christian's supreme Creator God. No wonder the response to geocentric evidence is so furious. I would therefore urge those who accept that there exists a superior being to realize that he is the humble God of the Christians, This God created and controls the whole universe, including its sin, which is all part of his cosmic plan. His Son willingly took the punishment that we deserved for our rebellion against this loving God. And what is this God like? God is Spirit, who is infinite, eternal, and unchanging in his being, wisdom, power, holiness, justice, goodness, and truth. And I always add beauty and humility. True and humble Christians who have the gift of the Holy Spirit know with great certainty that Christ died to take the punishment that we deserved for our rebellion against this loving God, so that we could be reconciled to God for all eternity.